Hey everyone, before we get into this video, let me share a really cool new product with you. This is the Tego license plate retractor. It sounds like some James Bond stuff, right? The thing that happens is, especially here in California and in some other states, they make you commit the sin of drilling holes into your beautiful car's bumper to mount a front license plate. No! It reduces your resale value, it's ugly, and it's just terrible. It makes the car look awful. Now, the Tego retractable license plate frame. It goes under your car's front lip. There's no holes in the bumper. It drills into that plastic splitter thing. And then on your smartphone, you have all your cars and all your Tegos. You choose your car, you hit a button, boop, boop, it pops out so you can drive on public roads and park in public lots. And then you hit the button again, boop, boop, it slides totally out of the way for the racetrack or the car show. This thing is ridiculously over-engineered. It's designed for sports cars. It's designed to be driven at high speed, so you know your aero won't be all messed up by it, and it won't go sailing off underneath if you start cracking 150 at the racetrack. Hit the link in the description. I got a special discount for you. TST15 gets you 15% off the Tego retractable license plate holder. Now enjoy this video.
I feel like you just activated something. You're like, activate parachute. All right, flat. That's just wheel spin. Wheel spin. Oh my God. Unless we just drove over some tire marks that were there that I didn't notice before. We just like laid a... What's up, everybody? Today's going to be a very cool day. We've got an unassuming truck on the outside, but it is anything but normal underneath the hood. So this is Oscar. Oscar, how you doing? Thank you for driving out to meet me up here. It's a very hot day. It's warming up very quickly. So this is a 2018 F-150 Sport.
F-150.
That's what you started with, F-150 Sport.
Yes.
So 5-liter engine. They come with like 400 horsepower.
Yes.
But yours is a little bit different.
It is.
What have you done to it?
Made our own Vortec supercharger kit, triple threat racing, with the YSI, our vibrant intercoolers at about 18 psi.
18 psi.
18 psi.
And how much power do you make?
770.
At the wheels.
At the wheel.
At the wheels.
Stock
770 at the wheels.
On E85.
On E85. Stock transmission.
Stock transmission.
That's incredible. Very strong transmission, obviously. That is amazing. And then you got some basic suspension stuff, which we'll talk about in a moment. How long have you been building engines?
We've been building like modified cars. Well, I've been in the business for about 10 years. So I mean, just trying to make cars go fast.
Trying to make cars go. You tend to, it seems like from your Instagram or you guys at Triple Threat Racing focus on, you build a lot of drag cars, a lot of drag engines. I mean, yes. You can build everything, but that seems to be like your clients show up and they're like, I want 1,000 horsepower in my Mustang.
To go on a straight line.
It's really cool. Yeah, to go on a straight line. There's a very cool Mustang with exhaust coming out the fender, and it's bananas. And you got a story of two brothers that are each having cars built by you, and one calls and he goes, I want 1,000 horsepower, and then later his brother calls and he goes, yeah, I want 1,200. That's amazing family rivalry.
That's it. Yeah, they've the Red Z06 has been driven by Matt Fore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matt drove the Red Z06. Check that video out. I have no doubt that it was a amazing, terrifying ride, just based on the specs of this truck. Whoa, Ferrari 400 GT. Wow, that's like, I think it's like the one Jason Camisa has. All right, so we're gonna follow that guy. Hopefully he loses us in the corner. This is not a corner truck, but this is gonna be a very interesting experience, because I think the sport truck thing to me is weird, and I'll talk about why in a second. It's got a little whoosh when you let off too. It didn't kick down into the lower gear, but it didn't really matter because you have so many revs in this. Your red line, you said, was 8,000 RPM.
8,000 RPM.
8,000 out of a stock bottom end F-150. I mean, right now, let's see. The tack here. This is the factory tack. Very nice gauge pod in the new trucks, by the way. It gets read at 6. So how did you guys? Did you just know? Oh yeah, the stock 5-liter. Wow, this requires so much more steering input than my car does. It's like 3 turns to get around this turn. How did you know that the stock engine would go to $8,000? You just
it's the factory Coyote motor. The 2018 Coyote motor is the same one that comes in the truck and the car. So we've had some 7,500 RPM, and it's my truck. We can risk it a little bit.
You can just, I guess you just run it until it hits the limit. You go, all right, back it down 2%.
You know, it's better to practice on my own
yes
vehicle than customer's vehicle.
Yeah,
that gives me a platform where I can and cannot push.
This is so this road, obviously, you guys can see is very cracked up, and we don't come here that often. It'll lead to a smooth road, but I wanted to do this because a truck should be able to ride over this stuff nicely. I mean, trucks are meant to go places ranging from mildly difficult to extremely. This is the sport truck. This isn't the off-road version. It's not a Raptor. It's not like, I don't think it doesn't have 4-wheel drive, right?
No.
Okay, so yeah, it's two-wheel drive. This is like your basic pickup truck, but it's riding quietly over this. Wow. Oh man, I don't know who those guys are, but that is super clean. And I was gonna say I like that color better than Jason Camisa's, but Jason's looks pretty cool too. Anyway, this hopefully we can find like a straightaway. This thing, wow, it sounds crazy. It's loud in here, but it's not like obscene. But when you jumped on it in the drive-by, it's really loud. And it's got 2 sounds. It's got like, it sounds like 2 bears arguing through megaphones. But then it also has this turbine whoosh because you're just pulling in so much air.
Yeah.
Brakes feel pretty good. Obviously something to check right before a corner. Did you do anything to the brakes?
Nope, still stock.
Stock brakes?
Stock brakes.
Well, they're better than a GT500 I recently drove, although those have been fixed.
Oh, good.
That track car had some soft brakes, but they're fixed now. It's okay. So stock brakes, all right, steering feel, you guys don't care. I don't really care. It's numb, it's electric, it's meant to just make it easy to get around. Fine, it does that. Cabin's very good, very comfortable. These seats are comfortable. They've got decent bolstering. Why did you develop a shop truck? Because sport trucks to me, it's like you take something with the shape of SpongeBob SquarePants and you're like, I'm gonna make that go real fast like a sports car, and it's fighting the air the entire time.
Well, I was searching for a truck, shop truck to carry parts and stuff like that.
Okay.
I like the Silverado, always been a Ford fan, and the Coyote platform has been amazing.
True.
And the power that they can hold, and how would I say it? Like that they can rev up to, and
Is there a spec drag series? Like they're running the Coyotes, and the spec drag series, they're running to like 8,500. You can't open the motor at all. You can do anything to the car you want. And it was just like
it's a sealed engine.
Sealed engines, and the specs were just banging off like 8 something.
Yeah.
Okay.
8,500 RPM. Has to be a stock motor. They make like about 450 horsepower. No cams. It's done. And then they have a turbo spec class. You can only run so big of a turbo.
So this thing basically, you needed a truck, you needed something to carry stuff, and it had the engine that you knew you could build, and you're like, all right, I'll put these things together.
Then like there's a dealer I think in Georgia that they're making into production Lightning.
Right. So of course that we're inevitably going to get to the Lightning conversation. You basically built your own Lightning
My own
in a way.
Lightning, yeah.
I know there's that shop in Georgia, and so for those of you who don't know, Ford's made 2 trucks previously that were called Lightning.
Right.
93 and 95, they made one that had a huge 5.8 liter V8. It only made 240 horsepower. So it's so weird. I forgot. In a truck, you sit higher, and obviously, so your perspective of speed is changed. Like if you sit in a Miata and you go 12 miles an hour, it feels like 80.
You're hauling.
It feels like you're hauling. And now we're sitting up high. The seats are comfy. It's quieted all the wind outside, and we were not going 12. I really couldn't tell how fast we were going until I looked down. We have a little straightaway coming up, which we'll get back to the lightning conversation, but it's a curvy road. This is definitely a truck made for straight lines. There's not a lot of them, so we're going to make use with the ones we can and find. All right, flat. Little wheel spin. Shifting at 6. Woo! Whoa! Yeah, I can feel a little bit of wheel spin. Then it hooked up, and then
it just goes.
Wow! I mean, the truck is really loud outside. It's a side exit exhaust.
That muffler is hating life.
The muffler hates it, but that air intake sound was really prominent. That was
when you're outside. You just hear the supercharger sucking in.
Yeah, huge. How big is the supercharger?
It's a YSI.
Okay,
it's a YSI. So, and then we have it controlled with. Then we have it controlled with the wastegate, like a turbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that a? I have obviously not built any supercharged engines. Is that a unorthodox? Is that a strange solution to the pressure problem? Or
yeah, well, with the supercharger, you play with pulleys and belts.
Right.
So we tried. We've read on some of the forums people started using the wastegate, so we ended up putting one of the smallest pulleys on the on the Vortec YSI, and we're controlling boost with wastegate, bleeding off whatever we have it set to.
Gotcha. So instead, like if you get a certain pulley size, it can spin at redline to a maximum PSI, and that's like, all right, that's your PSI ceiling. But now you're able to spin it, let's say beyond what it could normally take. But instead of having to go back to a bigger pulley, you can just let off some air.
Yeah. So we control wastegate like a turbo.
Okay. Very cool. People are still figuring out new stuff to do. We'll go back this way. What were we saying? Oh, so Lightning. So the first Lightning was made from 93 to 95, 240 horsepower. It was slower than a Cyclone, but it could tow more and actually hold stuff. And then they brought it back again in 99. It was like the round step-side shape. It had a supercharged 5.4 in it, I think, with like 350 horse.
Yes.
And kind of like laying the foundation for the Terminator Mustang, and with with blown engine. And then it kind of went away. They had like a Tremor edition car that was some suspension and apparent stuff. But have you always been into muscle trucks, sport trucks?
Yeah, actually my first truck in high school was a 94 White Lightning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Always been into the muscle car.
I've always been a huge fan of muscle cars. Classic trucks to me were, like a friend of mine had a 57 Chevy pickup, and so they were fun. But I think for some reason in the 90s, when I started getting into like sports car magazines and stuff, when I would see like the lowered, Chevy like S10s and the Toyota trucks, like I just didn't get it. But that's also because I was a judgmental ass. I was like, yeah, imports are dumb, turning is stupid, everything should be doing a burnout and going, running 16s in the quarter but making all kinds of noise. Like I didn't know anything about cars, and I just didn't realize what you can do. And now people are making drift trucks. I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff out there you can do.
Yeah.
The weight balance has got to be very interesting. Like how is it much more difficult? Actually, there's a straightaway after this corner. Is it a lot more difficult to make this hookup, run a quarter? You said it'll run like 10s, which is bananas because the stock truck runs 14s, versus like one of your Mustangs. Do you notice the huge, like the weight balance issue?
Yeah, big difference. I mean, we put this on the scales. It was like 4,400 pounds, 4,500 pounds.
This was?
Yeah.
That's really light.
It's light. I mean, I think a Hellcat's around there.
Yeah. No, I think, the Hellcat is around there. And if you start adding four-wheel drive to these things, it's like 6,000 immediately.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it seems to work well. The weight transfer is not the greatest. The back end is like super light.
it's amazing to feel like it did hook up well. You don't have drag radials or anything.
Yeah.
You have really basic suspension, right? You have like shocks.
The Caltrac bars.
Caltrac bars.
Caltrac bars and 3.5 drop kit from belltech.
I mean, the truck, it sits at a nice height, but as you can see, like we just drove into this dirt turnout that's got a lot of ruts and it's got kind of a high curb to it, and it can go in that. You know,
Yeah.
I think when trucks are slammed on the ground, that's when I kind of go, why didn't you just get a sports car? Because now you can't.
You're just as low.
You're just as low. You know, you have an open bed. You don't have the cargo space. Like, there's all these other things. Whoa! Wow, it's angry. All right, we're gonna go flat on this straightaway because it's our only real straightaway. And then this thing is gonna be a hoot. I feel like you just activated something. You're like, activate parachute. All right, flat. That's just wheel spin. Wheel spin. Oh my God. Unless we just drove over some tire marks that were there that I didn't notice before. We just like laid a...
Yeah, it doesn't hook up to...
Someone
like,
allegedly just made... it felt like, it was going faster and faster, and yet I look in the back, I'm like, oh, we're actually going 60% of how fast this could go if you had like drag slicks on.
Yeah, and then it short shifts a little bit.
It does short. Yeah, it does. It shifts at 6, which is
6.
Fine. I don't need any more than that. What a weird hoot. And you've got air conditioning in here. All the systems work. I don't have any warning lights on. Like, sometimes you get a heavily modified vehicle.
Yeah.
It's not always perfect, but you guys seem to be doing it right.
Yeah, we try to that you want to daily you want to be able to daily your car. You want to be able to enjoy it on your weekends, and I rather take away, if you're trying to make 1,000 and you can only drive it on the weekends, I'd rather have 900 and drive it every day.
That's a very good point. And I know there's a place for the 1,000 horsepower weekend car. Like, all right, if that's what you want, but I think more people kind of get away from themselves and accidentally build a car they can't drive on the way on the like daily anymore. And they go, oh, I got so caught up going fast that now I need a daily. And you're like, just pull it back a little bit. We got subs, air conditioning. It's comfortable. You don't have wire. Like, you just got this clean. That gauge is really nice. It works as a truck. You can throw an engine in the back or a transmission or something, and then take it down the strip. It
works well.
150 or some crazy number. What are the plans for this thing before the transmission explodes?
We're gonna see if put a tire on it, a slick. Probably mess with the suspension a little bit more, and probably put a set of nice headers on it.
All right, I'm gonna follow you on Instagram because I want to watch whenever you take it to the drag strip and see what it runs.
Hopefully.
Because there's something hilarious about a truck that is running a quarter mile next to like a Tesla Model S, next to a GTR that's built next to, that'll be really, it's just a funny thing to see. Like, you can make anything fast, I know, but I haven't driven a lot of trucks that have 900 crank horsepower. So this thing's like a weird, very like unassuming outside. It's like, oh, it's just a great truck. And then just, what did you say? You like walked Hellcat?
Yeah, there was a Hellcat, and we were on the street and he wanted to go.
No, you were at a professionally enclosed course.
Yes, we were just hanging out and he was taunting me and I'm like, oh man, all right, let's try it. Let's just try it out. Oh, I got him by like 3 cars at top end.
It's so funny. It must have ruined his day. I mean, props to you, but he's just like, yeah, I got the Hellcat. Check this shit out. Look how big my friggin' crank is. And then just kind of unassuming gray pickup truck. All right, man, thank you for driving up here. Thank you for bringing the truck.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to Triple Threat Racing.
Yes.
What's your guys' Instagram?
Triple Threat Racing 661.
661.
In Santa Clarita.
And you guys are racing Santa Clarita. They make cars with 3 to 4 digits worth of horsepower, all makes and models, and this one works great. So I don't know if you need a giant supercharger bolted to something, give them a look. All right, listen to the podcast. Check out the shirts on Blip Shift. They're really funny. They've got some cool graphics, funny graphics, a lot of good stuff. New shirts like every 2 weeks, and we will see you later. Thank you for watching.